I returned to FIFA on the Wii and rebuild a club across multiple games. Take the signings I make in FIFA 09 All Play and transfer them over to FIFA 10, 11, and so on. We'll see how long it takes to win the Scottish Premier League. I chose St. Mirren as they're the worst team in the league that are in every single Wii iteration. The problem is that FIFA 08 doesn't have a manager mode. The game itself is actually quite bare bones, like EA realized late that they needed to throw something together quickly, and spent all their time on figuring out the controls and how to get Miis into the game. That's why I never made a video on it, unlike the following 4 releases. However, there is a tournament mode, so I might as well play through that and just say we have a 1-year transfer ban. The tournament mode doesn't have too much to look through, although what a rough schedule. It's like EA predicted the future of football. With 33 matches on the docket, I'll start things off by playing 2 and simming 2 fixtures. The games I play will be on 2-minute halves on the hardest difficulty. The team looks as expected, except for the striker. Greg Dargo is a 77 overall striker for what I presume is based on his years at Inverness. However, in the real life season, he only scored once, which was to relegate Gretna. Hopefully, he can outdo that tally with me. If you played FIFA on any 6th generation console, the intro cutscene will look familiar. Playing through it with a Wii remote and nunchuck, the controls are a little different compared to FIFA 09. There's no pointer control, plus some actions require you to shake the Wii remote and simultaneously click a button. Some of the actions that solely require shaking need you to motion it in a certain direction, where sometimes it doesn't work. There's no skill moves either. Overall, the controls make this feel like the GameCube PS2 FIFAs, with a bunch of jank and less options to actually play football. Both matches ended 0-0. Next up are the simulations, which are done quickly as that's the sole option. We lost 3-1 to Dundee United and drew 1-1 to Falkirk. At least there were some goals. Back to me in charge, we faced Gretna. Prior to learning about the relegation, I had never heard of them, and that's because they never returned to the top flight, as they'd be liquidated due to financial problems. Now, Gretna FC have a Phoenix club in Gretna 2008. All this to say that I conceded my first in-game goal to a team that no longer exists. Weirdly, you can take quick free kicks, which I don't recall are in the other Wii games. Finally, I would score, and of course it's from our star player to have the game and all squared. Next up is Hearts, and Dargo would score again to see us finally win. Can that continue with The Sims? Not with Hibernian, but we do triumph over Inverness. Back to the pitch, Kilmarnock is an interesting opponent because it was my other option for this challenge. I went with St. Mirren because they looked worse. In game though, it didn't look like it, as I scored fairly quickly and supposedly with a finesse shot, which I did by accident. That's enough for a win. Motherwell ended scoreless, and we concluded the season's first third with a 2-0 loss to Rangers. 8th place isn't bad so far. For the second third of the season, I'll play sides I haven't faced in-game yet. However, with the speed of the gameplay and the quick halves, there wouldn't be a lot of goals. Dundee saw us score quickly for a 1-0 victory, and we'd see the same scoreline with Falkirk and Inverness. We did win some fixtures via Sims 2, but incurred 3 losses. Finishing the second third of the campaign, we faced Rangers, which saw Corcoran sent off. Even with a disadvantage, we took the lead. And despite doing our best to throw the match, we would defeat 10-men Rangers.
Ball eventually. And the attack breaks down. Will he never go? Yes! Oh, yes! Look what it means to him!
I didn't want to throw it there. Nevertheless, we were in 5th place. Maybe my skills are too good, so I decided to sim the remainder of the season. Where would that see us place? We dropped down, but only to 6th. I'd say that's a success. Sadly, our best player Dargo has a sharp drop in overall for FIFA 09 All Play, which is where there's an actual career mode, manager mode. I'm not going into detail about the game modes and its controls, as I've already done it for this and several other FIFAs on Wii. We're focusing on the St. Mirren rebuild. And we'll assume they had a director of football dealing with the transfers for a new season while I was on vacation. Unfortunately, my manager's name doesn't fit. Next, we choose a sponsor for today's video. I'm just kidding. Raytax aren't real. With a 600k transfer budget, who can I even buy? Eden Hazard. Unlike other managers, I have the foresight of how good players will be in future FIFAs. Thank you, so FIFA. So while he sucks now, Eden Hazard will be crucial for us in the future. I can't say the same for a couple of our best players, so they and several others are sent packing. There is risk to worsening my team, like losing a friendly to Accrington Stanley. The risk though is I make my team weaker now for a prosperous future. I also have to rely on my ability in-game, as Sims will be a tough time. While the newspapers might wonder why we're signing crap players like Lauren Koscielny and Marco Reus, I think I'll have the last laugh. Especially with my gamer skills, seeing Marco Reus take the lead and win against Rangers. I forgot to put it on world class. Wait, Sergio Ramos isn't Basque? Switching to 2-minute halves and the difficulty, world class's reality hit us as Motherwell's Clarkson found the sole strike. The two following sims resulted in draws, and I was not able to complete some final transfers. Unlike present day career mode, you can only make offers on game days. So if your offer isn't sufficient, you have to try on the next match day before the window closes. It also doesn't help that my negotiator sucks, so I sacked them for someone better. With future FIFA cover boys Reus and Hazard on the wings, they combined well to give us the opener versus Inverness. Thanks to our opponent's miss, we triumph. Celtic brought a load of surprises. Firstly, from us, with Winnis's banger. Holding on to the lead is crucial, but Celtic got on a counter-attack late, so Murray went in for a tackle and received a red card. That's all good. Oh fuck, they have Shunsuke Nakamura.
Let's fly. Scores! Oh, that's a beautifully worked free kick. Right from the training ground.
It ends in a draw. Unless we find one more chance. We win a free kick, and 2 passes from it leads to Hazard isolated in the box, and he twinkles his way past the defenders for the winner. The day after such a high, I got asked a question by a reporter regarding one of my players, who's under police investigation? Funnily, we can learn a lot from this almost 20-year-old game. Stating he's innocent until proven guilty was the right answer. Unfortunately, guilty or innocent, it didn't fix the distractions, as on the pitch, we lost consecutive sims. Returning to playing the games, Hearts was a massive kit clash, which may have led to the confusion late. Hazard finds space to shoot and hits the post, while Winnis sneaks behind to tap in the rebound. Hearts missed a massive chance at the end, as we're victorious. Dundee United would see us concede from a corner, but we responded right away from Winnis, who ball rolls and bulldozes his way to the net. Both of us had big misses late to end in a stalemate. To the Sims, 2 more losses. It's becoming clear that we're awful, especially if I'm not in control, yet I still have to take blame. However, that means I can take credit for a triumph over Dundee, as Winnis continues to have luck on his side, and so do I. A win would be cancelled out with a loss to Hearts. Now for our season's goals, one of them is to avoid the bottom 3. With us in 8th, the board were delighted, but the bottom 3 is 10th to 12th, and 10th is only 2 points behind us. Nevertheless, our guy Winnis continues his form, as his contribution in the win over Aberdeen has him labeled as the next big star. Before the Christmas break, we would luckily draw Falkirk.
Extraordinary!
With a new year rolling in, we started 2009 with Celtic. And if this is the result, I worry for what's to come. According to the papers, it was our keeper's fault. Another sim loss required a few more signings to come in. In net, we brought in Asmir Begovic, who isn't that good yet, but he grew up from where I'm from, and I had a football trainer who knew him. I also brought in Jose Callejon, as I know he'll be rapid in the future. Unfortunately, they don't make our team better now. I was beginning to feel the effects of my crap team on the pitch. An insane cross from Hibs led to their victory, and despite a great start by Winnis against Hamilton, we lost our ability to defend. A draw there. Then, a sim versus Motherwell went horrendously. It kept getting worse, as I then pissed off my board. An objective was to give Mirandis a new contract, which I did, but the objective is to give him a 3-year deal. I gave him 2. Then one of the last matches I'll play is a Scottish Cup fixture versus Hamilton. It's an encounter that went wrong quickly. They smacked the post from distance multiple times, and we'd eventually concede a second late to lose. Okay, you don't need to rub it in. I have a feeling that this season is not going to end well. The last fixture I played before simming the remainder of the campaign was against Kilmarnock. Here, we saw the potential future we have with Marco Royce, only for that magic to be flushed away by Asmir Begovic's best Rob Green impression before Rob Green even did it. A draw has us placed second to last. For the Sims, I made sure to use the best overall players I had. You might ask why I didn't do that during the games I played, but I just wanted to use crappy versions of Hazard and Marco Royce. So, can I keep my job? In the last 10 matches, we would win once. Now, most of them were draws, but a devastating loss to Rangers on the final day had us remain in 11th. Granted, we were last with 2 fixtures to spare, so that sole triumph was clutch as we avoided relegation. Not that there's relegation in Scotland on FIFA. However, we failed multiple board objectives, which means I avoid the sack. By a hair. I'll be given another chance for FIFA 10. Thanks to the transfer player option in the main menus, I could bring my team to FIFA 10 manager mode. Right, it's called Battle for Glory. And also, Begovic wasn't in the game for some reason, so let's pretend he's out on loan. Unfortunately, I still cannot use my true name. And if you've seen my video about this game mode, you know player overalls of 99 are replaced by a star rating out of 20, totaled by how good they are in 4 specific categories. In this dumbed down version of the mode, buying players is simple too. So much so, I brought in Gareth Bale, who still applied his trade as a left back. With my team looking like this, how will we do in Season 3 with St. Mirren?
He'll do well to get it in from there. It's in.
We were 2-0 down right away. I had to readjust to the changes in controls, but I also forgot how much this game annoys me. Despite the loss, I completed the manager moment, which seems more important than the result, as you'll see later. Match day 2 had us face Kilmarnock, and I forgot about the free kick quick time event.
Good one. Go!
Thankfully, I'm not completely crap at this game, as Hazard and Marco Royce would score to hand us the lead. But what are these free kicks, man? Not just that. My goalkeeper's rebound control is horrendous, and for goodness sakes, there's also quick time events on corners. Then, during added time, Kilmarnock did this. What can I do when they got somebody named Invincible? Another loss. Yet, our team overall keeps improving, and we receive these game boosters, which are basically steroids. Although, sometimes you get off-field ones, like being able to sell a player for double the price. You do need to apply it before the match for it to activate. Because of that, I decided to play through the entire first third of the campaign, then sim the remainder because I don't think I can handle more than that. St. Johnston actually went smoothly. Well, almost.
Can he score? Michael's got his flag up. What's all that about? Oh, it's offside.
With the game booster locked in, I decided to sell Thompson for double his price and sign Simon Kjær to improve our back line.
And he scored!
How did Bale not block that? Thankfully, SPFL defenders can't handle Higden. An annoying thing about FIFA 10 is the auto switching, as I'm moving my player towards Dundee's wide man, but he crosses it, which automatically changes to Kjær, and due to it switching instantly, my thumb was still pointing to the upper left side, which leaves them wide open for the lead. I had several chances, and with my momentum bar waning, I tried to fire any sort of shot, yet I couldn't find an equalizer. I also failed the manager moment, which shrinks my overall. That wouldn't stop Eden Hazard hitting at top bins against Hamilton. Now, I need to prevent Hamilton from having more than 5 shots. At halftime, they had 4. So I tried to spend the second half playing keep away. Unfortunately, I would lose it, and in the 68th minute, I tackled them for a free kick. So that's a free 5th shot. That's fine. Don't let him win this rebound. How did he outstrength you, Koscielny? Don't let him shoot. I failed the manager moment. I also forgot that penalties too were quick time events. Near the end, this somehow was a foul, which led to them scoring a last-minute bullshit goal. -6 overall, and we have to play Celtic. Looks like a good day to use these game boosters. Surprisingly, we scored first, and it would be the only strike, as we defeated the best team in the league. Could we do it against a second? Once again, Eden Hazard opened it up, but this time, we couldn't prevent Rangers from equalizing in the 74th minute. And not long later, their shot from distance led to a garbage goal. I don't even know why I thought I could pass this manager moment. -4 overall. At least Simon Kjær thinks I'm building a strong team. Motherwell was a simple encounter, with Jose Callejon actually showing up with a brace to give us the victory. But we failed the objective. Versus Hearts, while I was able to get the time events to go my way with a free kick and corner, the goals we conceded, my keeper has worse punching than Senegal's. Later, he barely came out of his net and still got dinked. And finally, a random long ball finds an open player who heads it between my 2 defenders to Witteveen for the winner. Falkirk saw me open the encounter, only for later their player to be found wide open, and from the slowest cross ever, put a crap ton of power on it. I thought I won it late via Marco Reus, but in the end, I made dumb fouls with their free kicks, nearly costing me. But it didn't, as we left with a victory. My last match would be against Hibernian, and this saw Kjær receive a red card and concede a penalty. They later took a shot from 45 yards out, won a corner, and successfully completed the quick time event to make it 2-0. They made it 3 later, and I'm done with this. Let me sim myself out of this misery. Now for the sim form, it was going so badly that my board decided to give me some game boosters, which included the negotiator we saw earlier. I didn't want to play another match, but it looks like I'll have to beat up Celtic again. The transfers I made in the winter window included Łukasz Piszczek, Matias Suarez, and Kevin Prince Boateng. Currently in 10th place with 15 to play, where would we finish the campaign with this lineup? 6th. Just missing out on Europe. With how easy it is to improve your team, the second half of the season with me not playing went a lot better than FIFA 09. Eden Hazard finished as our top scorer, followed by Callejon and Suarez. Royce scored 8 as well, and Koscielny won the worst discipline. Before FIFA 11, there's a World Cup in between, so I thought I'd manage Ghana on FIFA 2010 World Cup South Africa on Wii. Again, I did a video on this game, but didn't play the World Cup mode. So, can I bring glory to Ghana?
Guided in high. It's there! They've drawn first blood! Doesn't like it. They've scored!
To be fair, Kevin Prince Boateng was not on the lineup, so let's erase this from existence and instead insert Scotland into the World Cup by bribing Sepp Blatter. Regardless, we face Algeria, and even on the Wii, the vibes of this tournament are unmatched. Unfortunately, mix in the Wii QuickTime events and you get madness in the box. Despite me clearly winning the ball, the referee points to the spot. Show some respect to Stephen Caldwell.
He didn't impact the game at all. He was absolutely terrible in the match, to be honest.
If the game couldn't be more cruel, I saved the penalty only for it to go straight back to them. In spite of an 11-1 deficit in shots by halftime, it was tied thanks to McFadden's free kick going my way. Unfortunately, an hour in, another corner wouldn't go my way. Don't you fear. Give enough room to Maloney, and he'll make their keeper look like baloney. Anyways, in the last 10 minutes, we would find some corner luck, as a pathetic save by Algeria's keeper was tapped in by McFadden. Outshot? It doesn't matter. Scotland wins in the World Cup. After England vs USA's football vs soccer encounter ending in football reigning supreme, we participated in a secondary battle of that debate. And once again, football won again. All thanks to Kenny Miller's legendary hat trick. Cry about that, Landon Donovan. We qualified to the round of 16 with that. But wouldn't it be great if we could defeat England? Not just defeat them, but absolutely smash them? Goal after goal arrived, as by halftime, we were 5-0 up. Absolute scenes at the Nelson Mandela Stadium. By the way, it is on the hardest difficulty, and that began to show. England scored early into the second half, then they made it 5-2, 75th minute, and it's 5-3. In the 90th, they make it 5-4. Surely not. Thankfully not, as our 5 were enough to see off England and give us an advantageous spot in the knockout rounds. We faced Serbia. Revenge for Ghana! England would have to face Germany, and we know what happened there. I was more than confident in defeating Serbia, although they started off hot. An early save by my keeper should have had me worried, as 20 minutes in, Serbia would take the lead via potential Liverpool great Jovanovic. We responded strongly, but were denied a few times. Then, down the pitch, Serbia somehow gets behind my defenders again, but are stopped. A back line featuring the Caldwells and McManus seemed enough for the first 3 fixtures, but against Serbia, they couldn't track for squat as Kachar dinks it for the 2-0 lead. At least Darren Fletcher's banger grabs one back. Keep this in mind. It was already the 45th minute when we scored. Yet, the half continued, and Jovanovic breaches behind our back line to make it 3. So let's have the half continue by winning a corner and McFadden scoring a scissor kick. A crazy first 45, and the action wouldn't stop. Now I know the easiest way to score in this game is to send long balls in behind our opponent's defense, to hopefully have someone run onto it for a breakaway. But Serbia also knew of that strategy, and it actually worked for them many times. Jovanovic chips our keeper for his hat trick, Krasic scores from a free kick, I get one back from a corner, then Serbia earns a penalty, which they would miss. However, they relentlessly kept passing behind my center backs and would make it 6-3. You'd think they'd be satisfied with that. No! Jovanovic would find his 4th for the 7th, which now makes sense why Liverpool signed this guy. And after a rage shot from distance, my horrendous defending would lead to their 8th. This moment at the end sums up my offensive output, at least compared to theirs. Because of this match, Jovanovic would win the tournament's golden boot, which capped off an interesting top scorers list. Still, adding Scotland to this tournament wouldn't change the final outcome, as Spain lifted the World Cup. At least we won the Fair Play Award. Not really Scottish of us though. On to FIFA 11. Transferring over our players increases the overall to 71. And again, I can't fit the manager's name. The players are improving though, and we have stars to improve it further. After impressing at the 2010 World Cup, Keisuke Honda is signed. FIFA 11's battle for glory is the same as FIFA 10, which is why I covered other game modes in my FIFA 11 video. However, the gameplay isn't as irritating. Then 5 minutes before halftime, I was going to complain about auto switching, but apparently it's off. Thankfully, Matias Suarez got one right away. The score remained the same for the remainder of the 90 until late, where Callejon found Suarez wide open, and he completely fluffed it. An embarrassing loss to begin the season, yet the manager moments continued to be more important than the results, as we received a +3 boost. The boost seemed to help against Aberdeen, where it didn't matter whether you were a bleach blonde or a natural blonde, you'd be scoring. A 5-0 win leads to +7 overall. and 2 game boosters, which include plus 10 transfer points. We'll make sure we activate those versus Celtic. Our increase in overall helped to keep this competitive, but in the 52nd minute, Celtic were unlucky not to take the lead. That's unlike Keisuke Honda, who late on receives the ball back from an attempted tackle, only to have all the space in the world to bang in the winner. Hearts would see Jose Callejon's failed chip shot turn into a goal. Then we tried to find more in the second half, but Honda accidentally slipped and tackled a guy without the ball and received his marching orders. No Honda for free kicks? No problem, as Callejon earned his brace for a 2-0 win. QuickTime events have been removed, so that was all down to my skill. Rangers without Honda would have been a problem for us, but I began implementing through balls in my game, which led to Callejon's opener. Towards the end, Begovic made a huge save to keep our lead. Then, when Rangers had their keeper up for a corner, we avoided conceding and he sprinted back. Once Callejon got past the halfway line, the Spaniard thumped it, but hit the post. Our narrow victories continued with Matias Suarez's lone strike versus Dundee United. Inverness was simpler, with Callejon finding a few, and Honda smashing in an insane free kick. Good news and bad news occurred against St. Johnston. Kevin Prince Boateng opened the scoring, which is good, but we conceded our first goal in a while, which is bad. However, there is also great news, as Suarez would tap in a sweaty goal, and Callejon would seal the victory. Hibernian saw Suarez's strike lead to another triumph, while he and Callejon each scored against Kilmarnock for a 2-0 win. With one loss throughout the opening 10 fixtures of the campaign, we weren't in first. So to finish the first third of the season, we decided to absolutely demolish Hamilton. Now, I chose a manager moment for 5 goals, and used a couple of game boosters to achieve that. Despite the 5 goals, we would remain behind Celtic via goal difference. Suarez and Callejon's scoring ability had them tied with Celtic's Scott Brown for top scorer, while Honda had 5. Simming towards the January window, we drew so many times, but no losses. To turn those draws into wins, I bought Felipe Luis. Why a player of his overall would join the Scottish League is beyond me. Simming the remainder of the second third of the season saw conclude with a sim victory over Celtic. We still remained behind them by 2 points. Throughout the final third, a 3-0 loss to Celtic would rule us out of winning the Scottish Premier League. But we did make the Scottish Cup semi-final. Sadly, we lost to Rangers. Despite just 3 losses, we finished 6 points behind Celtic for second place. Jose Callejon topped the scoring charts, while Matias Suarez only scored 3 goals in 22 matches. Honda wins the worst discipline with 2 red cards and a yellow. On to the next and potentially final Wii game. FIFA 12 is the best Wii game. It takes all the good things from the previous versions and leaves out most of the negatives. It also introduces a proper career mode, which is actually pretty good. Plus, with my transfers added, St. Mirren are now rated the best team in Scotland. Even better, we finally have enough room for my manager's full name. So, to start off, where are all my players? Turns out, despite adjusting the rosters and making sure they were saved, they don't transfer over to the career mode. What an awful missight by the developers! The best career mode on the Wii, and I can't continue with my team. Wait, I could go to the tournament mode at least? Nope, doesn't work here too. You might ask, oh, maybe try FIFA 13. No, FIFA 13 doesn't work either because it's a carbon copy of FIFA 12 outside of the leagues and kits. Same goes for FIFA 14 and 15. That's why it says Legacy Edition on the front cover. I don't understand how something that worked for all of the other games doesn't work here. The solution is to play another season on FIFA 11, which at least sees us compete in Europe. If you want to see a FIFA 12 career mode, surprise! I already made a video about it. Unfortunately, with Battle for Glory, your player overalls do not improve, and you also aren't provided more stars to begin the new campaign. So I decided to play matches until I get boosters to aid in transfers. In the season opener, Piszczek is sent off. Thankfully, I had a game booster that caused their keeper to parry the ball after every save, which I used in order to have an easier time to reach 16 shots. Although, we had some tension with my teammates arguing with each other. Regardless, I learned a way to spam shots to easily earn 16, which led to a victory and a transfer tycoon booster. I'll have to apply that against Celtic, where Asmir Begovic twice rolled the ball to them when I'm holding the control stick in a different direction. At least I won it late and earned another game booster thanks to Honda finding the second. Now, with the transfer tycoon, I should have read the fine print because the stars I did have from selling players disappeared after I bought Wayne Rooney. The booster is meant for transfer listed players, but yes, I brought in Wayne Rooney because why the hell not? For my free transfer, Begovic has to go, so I signed Steve Mandanda. I then decided to sell more players because squad depth doesn't matter in this game mode. That led to Bakary Sagna and a lad named Lopo joining. With Rooney on the squad, the first thing we have to tell him is, help the team keep a clean sheet? A balding Rooney makes an instant impact by getting tripped and seeing the tackler sent off. For some reason, Felipe Luis took the pen. Gareth Bale later shows that corner passes are a good way to score, which secured a victory past Dundee United. In search for more game boosters, I used the max boost to help us find 16 shots. Winning the fixture was no problem, but 16 shots looked unlikely. So I tried my best to make the keeper parry the shots. Needing 3 more, I shot from a wide angle to get a rebound, but Callejon takes the worst touch ever for the ball to go out of bounds and fail the manager moment. The final match I felt like playing for a while was against Rangers, and the rebound boost I used would have been better last match, but the goal we scored late really was something. A huge triumph, but we failed the manager moment. With us at a -8 overall, would that hurt us in Sims? No, big wins arrived, as we were perfect for the season's first third, 9 points above Celtic. However, I forgot that we were in the Europa League, or should I say, the Euro League. A group that features Genoa, Basel, Lierse, and Oldham Athletic? Did they lift the FA Cup or something? I decided to sim versus the latter 3, which we dominated, but I felt like playing against Genoa to make sure we secured first in our group. Thanks to Keisuke Honda's pair of beautiful free kicks, we accomplished our task. Going through the campaign's second third, a loss to Celtic and Dundee United weren't ideal. Yet, we remained in first, 6 points clear of Celtic. Then arrived the EuroLeague knockouts. Bordeaux were the round 2 opponents, and I simmed these as we advanced to round 3, where we faced Barcelona? Are you kidding me? Weren't they supposed to win the Champions League last season? Why are they here? Just to be safe, I applied a +3 boost to my entire team, and what the fuck are you doing, guys? Mandanda, Lopo, everyone. Why? It nearly got worse with David Villa wrecking me, and then later, it actually got worse. A blocked shot messed with Mandanda as he dived, leaving an empty net for Xavi. A 2-0 first leg loss has me continue wondering why Barcelona were here. To be fair, they're probably wondering why Rooney is at St. Mirren. Some Sims in Scotland arrived with a win over Rangers and a 7-0 smacking of Hibs. Then arrived leg 2. While I don't care about earning game boosters anymore, why the hell is 5 goals just +2? The same as allowing 8 shots or fewer. Regardless, we conceded right away. 3-0 down on aggregate is disastrous, but the Prince got us 1 back. Later, Callejon tapped in a rebound. Unfortunately, I learned shooting from distance won't work versus competent keepers like Victor Valdez. Unless his name is Keisuke Honda. All tied on aggregate as we go to extra time.
There's the whistle. They go out on aggregate. It's a bitter disappointment for everyone involved.
There was no other result in mind from early on in this game because they controlled all of the play and created all of the chances.
Oh, I forgot about the away goal rules. That was a thing back then. I'll say it again. Why are Barcelona here in the first place? Despite the elimination, the manager moment says success, with a negative comment below. The Scottish League is tight with 9 to play, with us only 2 points above Celtic, albeit with a game in hand. a game in hand, which we won 8-0, 5 points clear. Plus, we advanced to the Scottish Cup semi-final, which would be against Celtic. The league fixtures up until then would be dominated. So, let's go try for a cup double. A sweat to Callejon and a defensive error led to a 2-0 lead. In the last 15 minutes, Celtic controversially won a free kick. And off it, I for some reason was able to control my keeper, and despite moving him to where the ball is shot, Mandanda didn't dive until it was too late. Thankfully, we won and moved on to the final. Why does the manager moment say we drew? Now I wonder if these manager moments have been spewing nonsense this whole time. With 4 league matches left, we were 5 points ahead, and it remained that way with a 5-0 win over Motherwell and a 4-0 over Dundee. To make things interesting, I decided to play my worst lineup in the penultimate match. We still won, and were officially crowned as the winners of the Scottish Premier League. With Celtic as our last match, I decided to play it to see us celebrate the league title over them. With the manager moment to score 2 goals to finish the game, it looked like that was going to happen, until Steve Mandanda fumbled this simple shot. Now our overall decreases for the final. Regardless, we won, and would be... Why are Celtics celebrating? Why are we being handed the runners-up medal? Is there some rule in the game where if you win the Scottish Premier League with a club not named Celtic or Rangers, you automatically move back into second place? Under corruption! Despite that, we can still see ourselves celebrate with our cup final versus Hibernian, with a -2 rating. The nerfs seem to have impacted us, as we struggled to find a goal. It was a cagey, tense contest, but at the last minute,
Fires it in. It's in. It's in. Oh, what a goal that could prove to be.
Rooney wins us the cup final, making his 19 stars all worth it. Now we actually get to celebrate and conclude this wee rebuild. While it didn't go to plan with one of the games, we did reach our objective of reaching the pinnacle of Scottish football. Not according to the manager moment though. We won the league by 9 points, and the top scorer wasn't Callejon, Hazard, or Wayne Rooney. It was Gareth Bale, who I barely mentioned throughout the video.